Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff and Key TV. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps our channel. And let me know what you thought of today's video in the comments below. All right, Atlanta, let's get into it. So we open with all of the ladies getting ready for the Louisiana trip. Drew is excited to get to her meetings. She throws a little shade talking about all the ladies can bring their kids if they want. She just hopes they have a good time. Of course, this is shade to Kenya because of the whole bring your kid gate. But hopefully they don't bring it up on this trip because I'm tired of hearing about this. Cynthia is at her house telling people to vote, and she almost like takes herself out on her with her dress by tripping over her dress. I was like, girl, take it easy now. We move over to Candy. Candy's hanging out with Toya, which is interesting because I didn't know if anybody would want to be hanging out with Latoya right now after that hot mess she created at Fallon's party. And I thought we were going to pick up from that party, but maybe it just got too messy and they just didn't want to show the rest of it. But yeah, Candy and Toya are hanging out at Candy's place. And Toya mentions that like she's excited to be on another private jet. She gets to keep hanging around all these rich friends. And then Candy's like, well, I hope Drew plans a better trip than you and Kenya did. Toya's like, well, that's shade. And Candy's like, well, I hope there's better food there. Let's put it like that. Because, you know, Candy is all about the food. And so am I. So I don't blame her. Like, we need some good food around at all times. So all the ladies are on the private jet that Drew claims Ralph got them. I do not believe that Ralph got them that private jet. But anyway, all of them are on the private jet except for Candy because Candy has to work and she's going to meet them there. And Kenya makes a very valid point, a very valid shady point. She says that Drew made it known to all of the ladies that they could bring their kids if they wanted to. Kenya is the only one who brought her daughter. The only one. Just like on the last trip. I was on Kenya's side last time with the whole bring your kids thing. I just recommended to Kenya that she should have made it known to everyone, just like Drew did. If they didn't bring their kids, that was on them. I feel like Kenya should have just done that because I feel like the heat would have been way off of her and they wouldn't have been fighting over this stupid thing where nobody would have brought their kid anyways, which is clearly obvious because nobody brought their kid. But I felt like Kenya should have still made the option available. Now that Drew has and nobody brought their kid, hopefully Kenya can read them for filth at the reunion, talk about, well, none of y'all brought your kids and you had the option. But they're all on this private jet. Marlo's doing photo shoots. And this is a much better way to get to their destination than that hot van bus thing that they had last time. So we're already off to a good start. The only thing is, Drew, girl, your confessional look, do we have to see this again? It is too much for me. It's too much. I don't like the pink. I don't like the boobs falling out. I don't like it. It doesn't look nice on her. It doesn't look nice. She has looked way better in confessionals, so I don't know who put her in this. So the girls are on a bus van thing. At least they are not having to travel in it for 8 hours. But Portia made some snide remark about Brooklyn being there because the baby's crying, and she's like, well, Drew did extend the invitation. I didn't say I was going to bring my daughter, but I at least wanted the offer because this is a girls' trip. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, please stop talking about this. So then they all get some drinks. They're ready to toast to the vacation. Latoya's not drinking. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. And they all are talking about it in their confessionals, just being like, good. Because we do not want that same mess that you gave at Fallon's party. Everybody's over her crazy behavior, including Kenya. And apparently Latoya and Drew went to church together. And like they show a flashback at Fallon's party when they talk about going to church together. And I'm just like, y'all... Latoya and Drew, like, give me so much confusion. They're either fighting, or they're, like, dry humping and dancing on each other, or they're kissing, apparently because there was rumors that they kissed at that bachelorette party, or, like, they're going to church together. I'm just like, okay. Okay, y'all. Oh my gosh, this van ride is such a mess. Like, cause now they're talking about like Marlo and Kenya being friends and how like crazy that is. And Latoya's talking about Marlo's friend hopping. She's like, well, I'm gonna get Kenya back and have Portia on the side. Kenya's like, you better know who the side chick is, because it ain't me. Portia's like, I ain't nobody's side chick. I ain't chasing nobody but $1. And I'm like, girl, haven't you been chasing Dennis for seasons? That righty man? But okay. And now they're like trying to, like, Drew's trying to toast to good vibes, but she's looking directly at Kenya. And Kenya's like, are you trying to single me out? Drew, leave Kenya alone. I feel like every time Drew is like picking at Kenya, it's like, it's stacking up. Kenya is gonna rip Drew to shreds at that reunion. And girl, don't say I didn't warn you. I told you to leave her alone. You would not listen. So they arrive to the hotel and they get out and the band's playing music. They're jamming and vibing. They're presented with some drinks and some food. So Cynthia's like, already Drew's trip is much better. And she tries to do some like New Orleans slang thing. And she keeps like trying to like, yeah, baby. I don't know what she was trying to do, but she didn't know either. Brooklyn gets off the little van thing. Kenya's trying to get her to dance. She wasn't dancing, but it was so cute. It's so cute. Like, even though like Brooklyn's face is still blurred because of that horrible husband of Kenya's, she's so cute. Like, because we remember what she looks like, but it was just cute. And they're like watching her while Kenya goes to find the nanny. Drew gets everyone's rooms, and she presents Cynthia with the best room because she couldn't sing at Cynthia's wedding, and she's like, I owe you. And Cynthia's like, yeah, you do owe me. Give me the best room. Give it to me now. Did anyone notice that Portia had the stankest face when Drew gave Cynthia the best room? Go back and watch it and look at Portia's stank face. I was like, dang, is she that mad about the room? So in order for the women to get the next best room, Drew suggests that they do a little twerk dancing contest. Kenya's like, nah, I'm not having that. I'm not going to degrade myself for a room key. Give me my room now. She asked, Drew is like, why? What's going on? Kenya asked for the room key again. And then like they just keep going back and forth. Drew kind of just ignores her and tells the band to start playing some booty popping music. Kenya gets heated and she's like, I've asked for the fourth time. Give me my room key, please. Whew. So Drew gives her room key finally, and Kenya leaves. She goes to the front desk and asks for a better room. I'm like, you didn't even see the room yet. What happened? Drew was like, well, let's dismiss this energy and start over again. I was like, girl, like, if you had just given her the key, we could have just been done with it. Like, nobody would even, like, have sensed the negative energy. You could have just been like, okay, gave her her room, went on and did the thing. But, like, now it's, like, obvious. So the girls start twerking and dancing. Drew gives Portia the best room, the next best room, because of her knees. She can get low, I guess. Portia seems a lot happier now than she did when Cynthia got like the best room. So they're about to go see their rooms. I'm sure they're all beautiful. I don't know why in these Housewives franchises they're always fighting over rooms, like every single time. And none of the rooms are that bad. Even like Marlo's little room in the last house was not that bad. They're just dramatic. So everyone got their room. Drew and Portia are talking about Kenya's negative energy. Cynthia's like, just give it to the bike ride, and then if it's still a problem, I'll talk to her. So they're all in the rooms getting ready. They come downstairs because they're going to do a bike ride, and Portia asks like who got the worst room, and Drew's like, well, Kenya got the worst room because she asked for her key, so I just gave it to her. Little do they know, Kenya upgraded her room, so that plan backfired, Drew. It did not work out the way you thought it did. So all the ladies come downstairs, all the rest of the ladies come downstairs for the bike ride, except for Marlo, and they get on the bus to take them over, I guess, to where the bike ride is. And Cynthia, with her little shady self, she asks Kenya if she likes her room, and Kenya's like, yes, I do, I upgraded, and everybody's like, so now, Cynthia's like, oh, so you didn't like the room you had? Cynthia, Portia, and Drew, y'all knew that Drew gave Kenya the smallest room, so why even ask that but to be shady? And Kenya's like, no, that's why I upgraded. So then Drew's like, oh, well, it would have been nice if you let me know that you upgraded, so I need to know where everyone is. Kenya's like, I'll send you the room number. Like, Drew, shut up. Why does she need to let you know that she upgraded? Why are you mad because she got a nicer room? You try to give her the small room when you know she had her baby. Drew, shut up. So then, like, to change the atmosphere, Shamia's like, well, I'm going to call Candy and see what she's doing. So the ladies are enjoying the bike tour with their fun little tour guide, having a good time. Even Kenya's having a blast, making jokes. And Drew comments in her confessional, like, when Kenya's having a good time, it just makes a difference in the group. It feels like we're all friends for the first time. And I think this is just the difference between having to host a trip and not hosting a trip. I knew Kenya shouldn't have hosted that last trip because she was dealing with a lot, and she has her baby. She has that wretched husband of hers who keeps trying to divorce her. When Kenya's not having to deal with the pressure of all that mess and then host a trip, she's letting her hair down, having a good time. Nobody should be hosting trips in the midst of a storm because it just brings the whole energy down. And she's just having a good time, and it's nice to see. And I feel like now Drew's the one stressing about the trip. But the trip so far is much better than the last one so far. So they finally get somewhere to eat. They order shots. LaToya leaves the table. And when she comes back, she's in a nasty mood. Kenya asks her, like, what's going on? And she's just like, I'm frustrated. I don't want to talk about it. So I was like, all right. So then they order their drinks. They order food. And they're just eating, having a good time, and then Marlo calls. So they're all saying hey to Marlo, but she's laying down, her back still hurts, and Kenya's like, oh, what's wrong with my bestie? Portia looks over, stank face. But Marlo's not coming, so they say they're gonna bring her some food back. They hang up with Marlo and start eating. It's quiet because they're tearing up their food. And Toya is like, not another Fallon party. And I'm like, oh gosh, just because you guys can't be quiet for like 2 minutes without talking all the time. So Kenya's like, why are you saying her party was boring? And she's like, it just was until I got there. And girl, shut up. Cynthia's like, you just can't go into someone's home and insult their husband. And Toya's like, well, I did. And it's just like, Toya's coming in hot. Whatever frustrated her before is like lingering and going to affect the whole rest of the night. And it's like, girl, like, we don't need this with your nasty attitude. So Cynthia is like, well, I think it was very disrespectful and rude. And Toya's like, okay. So then Drew decides to insert herself and asks Toya why she's not drinking. And Toya's like, I just don't feel like it. And then Drew just keeps going, like, so why aren't you drinking? She's like, I said I just don't feel like it. So Drew's like, well, you told me that you didn't want to drink anymore because you get aggressive. And it's like, okay, so like, I don't understand Drew, what she's doing. If she already answered the question, why do you keep asking it? Like, are you trying to get a different response? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So Kenya steps in and she's like, she already answered you. Toya starts getting obnoxious and heated and starts banging on the table saying, like, I just don't feel like it, bitch, and just keeps going. So then Portia's like, are you calling Drew a bitch? And then Drew is like, she's being fake. She's fake. And then Toya's like, what? And she's like, you told me that you wanted to change your drinking because of like us going to church together. And I guess everybody forgot that they went to church together because they're like, y'all went to church together? And she's like, yeah, we went to the same church. So then in Drew's confessional, she said, like, I guess her driver is like a pastor or something. She didn't really explain it, but she said, like, when Drew's driver took Toya home, like took Drew and Toya home because Toya was wasted after that niece party. He was talking to her about her drinking, and Drew said she was crying and getting emotional and wanting to change things. And so at the table, she decides to divulge all of that information to everyone. It was like, you wanted to fast. You said you were going to do all of this stuff. And I'm like, why would you tell everybody that? Like, that was private, personal between you two about her drinking and trying to change her life. So why would you expose her to the whole table? And Drew was like, I'm trying to be there and be supportive. And I'm like, this is not supportive. Spreading this all over the table is not supportive, Drew. Like, Drew is the fake one to me. I don't like Toya. I really don't. She's a nasty person. But Drew is so fake and phony. I tried to like her at the beginning of the season, but she's getting more and more on my nerves. I'm like, why would you tell this woman's business like this? That is not a nice person or supportive. So this conversation gets nowhere, and Toya gets up to leave. Kenya goes with her, and Kenya's just like, you need to be careful who you tell your like information to. And Toya's like, clearly, Drew can kiss my ass. And they leave together. So Candy calls Cynthia, and the rest of the ladies tell her that that LaToya and Kenya left, and that Toya's mad. And Candy's like, already? So she has like a few more hours to get there. They finish dinner, and then they get back to the hotel. Drew brings Marlo some food, and Candy finally arrives. So Kenya visits Cynthia in her room. They're talking about Drew. Kenya feels like Drew's a bully. Cynthia doesn't like the bully word, and Kenya's like, I don't either, but I also don't like people who are like that. And she feels like Drew is bullying LaToya, and Cynthia kind of agrees. So then we head over to Drew's room. Portia comes to visit Drew to bring her some drink and a snack. They're talking about Toya. Drew says that she didn't invite Toya to church. Her assistant did. So maybe the assistant is the driver. I don't know. But he invited LaToya to church, and that's where she saw her and was like, oh, hey. So then Shamia shows up to Drew's room, and they're talking about like the mess that keeps going on. And Portia's like, y'all trying to, like, we're trying to have a good time, but y'all keep trying to bring up like old stuff and fight about it. And Shamia's like, well, let's talk about your friend Marlo. So I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So Portia feels like she was building a real friendship with Marlo, and now like Marlo is like getting together with Kenya to like take Portia down, and I guess that's how she feels. She feels like Marlo's being fake, and I can see how she feels that way. It's like we were building like a really good friendship, and it's like they flash back to 2 years ago, so they really were like building a good friendship. And to be friends with my enemy would make me feel some type of way. But Shamia talks about how Kenya doesn't like Portia so much that it's like she'll be friends with whoever just to like affect a Portia somehow. And I just don't feel like it's that way. I feel like they don't like each other. Like it's both of them. And I feel like Portia and Kenya tried last season, but Portia backed out of it, like out of their friendship when Kenya came after Tanya. And when Nene came back. When Nene came back and Kenya went after Tanya, then Portia was like, well, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. But it had nothing to do with anything that Kenya did to Portia, because Kenya didn't do anything to Portia. So I feel like this was Portia who didn't want to be friends with Kenya anymore and started the whole rival again, not Kenya. I feel like Kenya is keeping it going, but Portia, I feel like started it last season when she just cut off their friendship. So it's the next day, poor Kenya is dealing with Brooklyn. Brooklyn put Crown all over that hotel room. Kenya's like, you got Crown everywhere. How'd you get Crown on your food? And of course, the shady editors at Bravo have the camera zoomed in on Brooklyn's sausage, and there's green Crown mark all over that food. She got Crown everywhere. You cannot fall asleep on your kids because they will get into some stuff. But now we're heading over to Drew's room. She's getting glammed up. She has an audition, a big audition, and then her agent or manager tells her she also has a big interview at iHeartRadio. So then the girls come over to Drew's room. They come over to hang out, and Drew has a spread of food. Toya comes in, and she's like, and you guys call me the alcoholic because there's 2 champagne bottles there. And I'm just like, that's gonna be another great day with Toya. Mess. So it starts to like rain on their parade, and they have to take it back into the hotel room. Kenya is on her laptop. So apparently Drew wants to take the ladies to this thing called Zydeco. It's like some New Orleans type country line dancing. And the producers ask Kenya, the producers ask Candy, what is Zydeco? And she's like, it's another dance that I can do. So, but they're going to be doing the Zydeco stuff while Drew and Cynthia go to her interview, because I guess they couldn't do it at any other time, which is weird. So, like, the ladies are going to be going, and while Drew and Cynthia are at the interview, and Drew's like, so, Kenya, are you taking minutes? Because she's on her laptop, and she's like, yep, sure, taking minutes. And she's just being shady, but also being funny. And, like, this is what we like. This is the Kenya that I like. I mean, if you are somewhat of a Kenya fan, I don't mind her. But this is a Kenya that I like. Fun, shady, not evil shady. So I feel like the ladies are going to have a good time with the dancing. Maybe not Candy, but we'll see. So the ladies are on the little bus thing on the way to Zydeco, and Marlo lets the ladies know that she had the dude from the hotel like unpack her stuff and like decorate her room. And Kenya's like, oh, you mean Robert? And then Marlo and Kenya start fighting over Robert, and she's like, yeah, when I upgraded my room, he helped me out. And Candy's like, you upgraded your room? And she's like, yeah, Robert would make a good assistant. So then Marlo and Kenya start fighting over Robert, and Kenya's gonna call him up, and they're like laughing and giggling. You see Portia's face, because she got that stank face again. That stank face. So then they finally get over to the dance studio place, and they're gonna do the Zydeco thing. I guess it's the dance they're doing is Zydeco mixed with shaking. What we call twerking, they call shaking in New Orleans. So the ladies are doing like twerks, and they're twerking their butts. Candy has no rhythm. She can't do it. She can't do it. They're trying to help her. Portia's like, how you got that big old booty and you don't know how to shake it? I am very disappointed in Candy. She didn't even try. I'm like, at least try. How are you going to be the owner of Candy Coated Nights with your little sex toy lines, and you can't even shake your booty or make it clap? Girl, get on. So now Portia wants to talk to Marlo. Portia keeps saying over and over again how she doesn't care if Marlo is friends with Kenya. You do care. You cried about it the night in Drew's room. You keep saying that you don't care. You care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't bring it up. You care. She just wants, like, she wants Marlo to not be friends with Kenya, but she just doesn't want to say that. And she's just like, I feel like you're being different towards me because you're friends with Kenya now, and I don't want you, like, going with her and gossiping about me and saying all this nasty stuff when you're supposed to be my friend. And Marlo's like, I haven't done that. She's like, remember when you and Kenya were friends last season? Remember that? And how I didn't like it, but you kept telling me how sweet she was and how good and kind she was, and I wasn't here for it, and now I'm friends with her and you got a problem. It's just like, hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, Portia. You're a hypocrite. She does get mad that Marlo asks her, okay, so then all the stuff that Kenya was saying, was it true? Portia does get mad. She's like, no, it's not true. She's like, do you think any of my friends asked me the question you just asked me? And Marlo's like, well, I don't know. She's like, I'm going to ask it. I asked her now, and let's just be done with it. Portia's mad about her asking. She feels like Kenya's manipulating her. And Marlo's like, I'm good. Let's just squash it. Like, I'm gonna be friends with her. Like, I don't need you to, like, not be friends with me just because I'm friends with Kenya now. Like, I was still friends with you when you were friends with Kenya. Let's let this go. They finally, like, squash it. Meanwhile, on the little bus thing, Shamia's telling Candy, like, you know, Portia and Marlo had to talk it out because Marlo feels like Portia and I are being some type of way to her now that she's good with Kenya. And Kenya's like, I'm not here for the high school stuff. And Shamia's like, well, it's about loyalty. And Kenya's like, yeah, but you're loyal to someone. You're being, like, super loyal to someone who hasn't always been loyal to you. Shamia had nothing to say. She had no comeback. Because it's true. Like, everybody seems to forget, like, Portia was not a good friend to Shamia at a time. And it was on TV, national TV, and she dogged her friend out. Shamia is a follower. To the umpteenth degree. I'm over Shamia. Can we stop bringing her around? I'm done seeing her face. She's annoying. So then LaToya wakes up because I forgot forgot she was on the bus. We didn't see her. And she was like, oh, so you're basically Portia's lapdog to Shamia. And Shamia's like, go back to sleep. And they start. And then Marlo and Portia get back on the little bus thing. They're Shamia and Toya have squashed it. I don't know what happened, but they stopped. Marlo and Portia get back on. Kenya starts asking Marlo what's wrong, and she's like, I'm good. Just give me a few more drinks and I'll let y'all know. And that's the end of it. And then Portia in her confessional is talking about how, like, people don't need to choose sides, but it feels like she is trying to get Marlo to choose a side. And I think it's because of the whole, like, Strippergate thing. I feel like if Marlo hadn't said anything about the Strippergate thing, if she hadn't agreed that she heard some stuff like Kenya did, maybe Portia wouldn't feel so much like this. But I don't know. I feel like just get off of Marlo. Leave her alone. Let her be friends with Kenya. You were friends with Kenya. Y'all just need to squash it and be done with it, but I know they won't. And that is the end of this episode. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Please give this video a like and hit the notification bell so you're in the know when I release a new video. And subscribe. I would love to have you a part of Steph and Key TV. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.